Alright, yo, how y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? So, first of all, I want to say sorry that there was no upload yesterday. I was going to do it yesterday, but I was just a little bit pissed because of what happened in the other game, so I decided, you know what, I'll take a quick nap, and then once I wake up, I'll make this video. So here I'm making this video. And I guess instead of just making it just a Sevilla versus Bayern post-match review, I'll do a Champions League quarterfinals review. Just make it like a broad thing, so it'll be a bit longer than usual, but I'll be able to talk about all the teams, you know. But let's start with our game first, because quite frankly, yesterday's game I thought was just, I want to use the word, it was just business, professionality. That's pretty much like the word I want to use right here. We were very professional. We came on the pitch. We snuffed out any chance they had. We literally, knew what to do. We didn't, we saw in all these Champions League games so far, these last 2 weeks, whatnot, where both teams are just going for it. Or even if the one team, for example, Real Madrid, Juventus, even if one team, or Barcelona, pretty much another good example, where one team just had a clear advantage, of going from the first leg into the second leg, them messing up. And I thought we were like the one team where I thought, like, out of all the matches from these last 2 weeks, really, where I thought, we looked very, very solid. Now, we didn't look great. Like, we didn't look like we were an attacking force. We didn't look like, we really went all there. Our 2 goals came from own goals in the first leg, and in this leg at home, we didn't score a single goal. But I thought we did very well. Like, I thought our plan was really, not to overplay, not to, go all out and attack, score goals and whatnot, not to sit back and just defend either, but it was just to make sure that we actually go through. And I thought, it worked very, very well. Now, of course, I'm a little bit disappointed because I was expecting us to go forward. I was expecting us, to create more chance. I was expecting us to really score and, go forward and, get those goals, like win by 1 or 2 goals, especially at home, but that was not the case. But I was still overall satisfied. I was still overall satisfied just because, we seemed to have a different type of performance, one that didn't require that much energy. So we saved a little bit of energy, especially now considering we don't have that many, we have quite a few key players injured, and we had a main squad out today, really, or I should say yesterday, depends obviously on the time zone. So we had a main squad out, which meant that, we could not take it leisurely, but we could hold out, do our best not to concede, but not really go forward. And if they would have scored, we still had our best squad out, so we could have upped the tempo by a gear or 2 and got a goal and then essentially go through that way. But I thought the approach was very nice. Obviously, if it had failed, if they would have scored 2 goals and we didn't up the tempo, we didn't up the gear, then that would have been a different discussion, because then I would be here saying, what was that? But we did it well. We did it well, I thought. So we're through in the semis. Through in the semis, and it's going to be quite interesting. This Champions League honestly has been quite interesting. I know a lot of people always say, oh, the Champions League is fairly boring. For me, I always say I want the best teams. I want the best teams or the best performing teams in the in the Champions League. And I have to say, like, right now, we probably have like the best performing teams. Now you may say, instead of Roma, you could have PSG. Okay, fair play, but still, Roma was very good. They got through the group stage first. I think they were in a group, and they just did really, really well. So from that perspective, just they have done very, very well this season. Now, I shouldn't make a prediction for who I want in the next round. I don't know, because I was going to do a video on that, like my usual drawing, my mock draw. So I might do it there. But I'll say this. I think I know who we're going to get. No, sorry. I've got a clear team who I would want to play 100%. And then I got a team that I know we're going to draw. I know for a fact we're going to draw them. And I'm not going to mention who, because I'm going to save that for later on today. Probably give, like, by the time this video is up, give it like another 10 hours or so, and then you'll see my mock draw, and yeah, you'll know more then. But moving on from us, like, the thing is, we always make it to the semi-finals, which is just very, very impressive. And a lot of people say, oh, you should, if you don't win it, there is nothing in it. But I feel like getting to the semi-finals in the biggest competition, well, Alright, that's debatable. The biggest competition with an asterisk, you know, you can include obviously the World Cup, but the biggest competition really, the biggest club competition, alright? Let's leave it at that, the biggest club competition. So just from that perspective, I feel like we did really, really well. And we always get to the semis, which in of itself is a very big achievement. Now you look at, you know, like right, 2011 was an anomaly, but like pre-2010, that was rare, you know, that was honestly rare, and now it's just the norm. Now, you know, we had such a bad start into the season where Ancelotti got sacked, where, you know, we got hammered by PSG 3-0, then Yup came in middle of the season, was like, yep, let's fix some things up, and here we are in the semis. Now, if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season that we would actually win, no jokes really. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season, we were halfway through the beginning of the season when we were doing really poorly with Ancelotti, we were like, I think it was 9 points behind in the Bundesliga when he got sacked, that we would go on to win the Bundesliga, you know, still be in the DFB Pokal and be in the semis of the Champions League in April, I would have said you're totally wrong and I don't know what you're smoking. But no, we have done it. We're really, you know, we're actually here, which is just very, very impressive. Massive credit to you. Now, you may say, oh, we had a relatively easy path, quote, you know, comparatively. Yeah, but you can only beat who's in front of you, ultimately. You know, we were second in the group, and we could have faced like the most dangerous clubs out there. We got Besiktas, very good team, but we beat them. Then, you know, next round we could have had the most difficult teams out there. We got Sevilla, very good team, very aggressive team as well. So I'm hoping that the players are going to be fine, because obviously there were a lot of players that got seriously injured, because that was basically their game plan, just foul the players and just move on. But the good thing is they didn't manage to move on. They fouled the players, but they didn't move on because they were stopped by a wall. And that was it. The game was decided in the first leg. Now, in terms of like the other matches, which shall we start with? Let's turn the light on. It's a bit dark. It's like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. right now in the morning. But who should we start with? Let's go with... Who played yesterday? Let's go with Liverpool, I guess. Liverpool versus Manchester City. Now, I thought this game... let me be totally honest here. First leg, right? When I saw the lineup for Manchester City, I thought, okay, Liverpool are going to win this. Before the game, I was like, okay, 50-50, 45. For those guys who were obviously there during the stream, I was saying that I think it's pretty much 50-50. But then when Aguero went out, I thought, okay, you know what, 55-45. And then the next day, when I actually looked at Liverpool's stats since Virgil van Dijk came in for them, since they bought him as a defender in January, they have been awesome, actually. They have actually been, like, the defense, which was the weakness, is now very, 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 very solid, which is pretty evident by how they played the second leg against Manchester City. Now, winning the first leg, I thought, was it like 3-0? Yeah, winning the first leg 3-0 was just incredible. I didn't feel Manchester City was bad, to be totally honest, but that's the thing with Pep, really. You know, you never really feel, oh, the team was that bad. But then they'll still get, you know, they'll still ship 3-4 goals. I mean, they get the match against Barcelona really comes to mind when Pep was at Bayern, and obviously we were playing against Barcelona. And I thought, you know, the first leg where I think we lost 3-0 as well, away to Barcelona, I thought, oh yeah, you know, we were pretty good. We contained them well. We had our chances, but we still lost 3-0. They scored 3 goals in like the span of 15 minutes at the end. Liverpool scored 3 goals against Manchester City in the span of like 15 minutes in the first half. So you can take your parallels there if you want to take them. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, Liverpool, their attack was much better. They were just much more clinical, and I think that really just sums it up. I mean, they've got players who, if you look at like the top 10, or I don't know, top 10, I don't want to go that far, I don't know. But I think like the top 8, they've got 3 players in top goal scoring for this Champions League season, which in of itself is just very, very incredible. I think they've been the highest scoring team, and I think they've also conceded the least amount of goals, which you know, Klopp, he really is a cup manager, or he's really a Champions League manager. So from that perspective, it's just very interesting to see like what his project really with Liverpool is going to go to, you know, how far it's going to go, where exactly it's going to head. They're a team to really watch out. I feel like, I mean, I made this bet with a friend of mine, considering he supports Liverpool. So I do try to keep an eye out for Liverpool matches, because obviously a friend of mine, I've got a few friends actually that support Liverpool, but I made a bet with somebody who I was saying that, first season with Klopp at Liverpool, it would be just like, okay here, okay there, not really great, not really bad. Second season they would do much better, and then I think I said they win a cup or something. They didn't do that. But I said third season is really when you're gonna see, him really, really stand out with the team. And I guess you could say, I mean, they're not winning the Premier League, obviously. Manchester City, they have got that in the bag. I mean, they're in poor form right now, but they've got that in the bag. But they are very, very impressive, and the thing is, Klopp really is just good at building a team, building a team for, like, not just the immediate future, but like a long-term plan. So from that perspective, they're going to be, well, I feel like they're going to be, I don't want to go as far as saying that they're going to be like the Borussia Dortmund, pretty much, or like the dark horse, really, the consistent dark horse. But if you look at what Klopp has done with Borussia Dortmund, he made them into that dark horse, and even now, because they were for such a long time the quote-unquote dark horse, they're now perceived as one of like the top, one of the top clubs in Europe. So from that perspective, I feel like Klopp really can take Liverpool forward. Now, in terms of Manchester City, obviously you've got Pep. Pep, again, divisive figure amongst Bayern fans. I feel like probably the most divisive coach besides maybe like Louis van Gaal, probably like the most divisive coach we've had pretty much forever. I feel like the guy, stubborn. That's what I want to say. Stubborn. He is stubborn. But if it works, it's fantastic. If it doesn't work, he's the first person to blame, really, because he likes tinkering so much that he will always be the first person to blame. But if it works, he will be the first person that you praise as well. So, once at the beginning of the season, when Manchester City was playing really, really well, going on like these unbeaten runs and whatnot, everyone was like, oh, look at this, this is exactly what's happening and whatnot. And then, as usual, I don't want to say as usual, because I actually like Pep. I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of Bayern fans don't. I actually really liked Pep. I thought he was excellent, to be totally honest. But beginning a later half of the season, when the crunch time is there, the team just combusts pretty much. And I feel that's almost, I don't know whether that's a fitness issue or whether that's it's not a rotation issue, definitely not. But I feel like it's almost a fitness issue. I don't know. It's like, well, I'm not certain, to be totally honest. But anyway, Klopp beats Liverpool 3-0 first leg. Second leg they win 2-1 away, which again, just Klopp beating Pep, really. Overall, very entertaining matches though. I thought very entertaining matches. Now, the Barcelona versus Roma match, I did not actually see the first leg. I didn't see the first leg because I went into that thinking this is going to be pretty one-sided. You've got the Messi factor and everything, but I was watching the Liverpool versus Manchester City match, and then the second leg, and I just saw like people just kept tweeting on like Twitter like, oh, Roma has just scored, Roma has scored, and like it was like 3-0. I was like, what? What's going on here? So after the game, I then found a replay, watched the whole match, and honestly, Barcelona were pretty poor. Dembele, when he came on, was actually pretty good, but overall, I thought they were just pretty poor, and it just shows really that Barcelona, I feel like they always go in the quarters now. Like in the last 4 or 5 seasons, I think. What year are we in? 2018, I think. Yeah, 2018. In like the last 4 or 5 seasons, they've always gone out in the quarters, except for 2014 when they won the Champions League. So they kind of had a similar thing as us, where we always go out in the semis. Barcelona always go out in the quarters. So, yeah, but Roma, I mean, Roma's incredible. Just incredible, like an incredible achievement. They have been, like I said, they have done, and they looked very, very impressive. Now they're still, in my opinion, the weakest team in the Champions League. The weakest team that anyone now in the semi-finals can draw. But they're not here because of luck. They're here because of merit. And now the question really is, how much does that have to do with Barcelona, and how much does that have to do with Roma? You have to give Roma a lot of credit here. You have to give Roma a lot of credit here. But also, I feel like Barcelona, they just didn't play good at all. So, it's their fault as well. So I feel like the blame / the praise just kind of goes hand in hand right now. It's like 50-50, like 50-50. Like 50% of the credit should go to Roma, 50% of, you know, the hate should, I don't know if hate is a strong word, but 50% of like the hate should go to Barcelona. So, yeah, Roma's going to be quite an interesting tie, seeing just like what they're going to do from here on out, who they're going to draw, because who they're going to draw really could decide whether they actually make it to the final or not. Now, Real Madrid versus Juventus. First leg. What a goal. What a goal. See, when I used to play football, I don't play football anymore. I'm too lazy now. I'm too fat. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm too fat right now to play football. When I used to play football, right, I'm like one of those people that always try and do overhead kicks. Because I never, back when I was a kid, I never thought, you know what, you can actually seriously injure yourself, even to this day. You know, if my room was clean, I'd try and do an overhead kick right here. Or if my room was bigger. But I'm not one of those people, if you don't take risks, you don't take rewards. But when you see professional footballers like do overhead kicks, I just look at it, I'm like, yo, nice. Nice. So I've seen that first leg, I've just seen that Ronaldo madness, really. You know, the thing is, right, you guys know that already. I personally think Messi best player of all time. I think that's, for me, that's not a debate. But I know a lot of people will debate that, so I won't even get into that. But for me, Messi best player of all time. But Ronaldo, I'd probably have him in my team, really. I'd have him probably as like one of the first names on the team alongside Neuer. Because when it counts, like when it really matters, he is always there. Like away game in the Champions League quarterfinals against a great team, against Juventus, he is there. Like he just scores. He is just phenomenal, really. So that first leg was all about him, to be totally honest. Like he got the headlines, he scored the goals, he did everything. And it was just very, very incredible. I think he actually got 2 goals, not a hat-trick, so I might be wrong here. But just very, very incredible, you know. And then you have today's match. Or yesterday, again, depending on your time zone. Yesterday, today. And I thought Juventus had no chance, especially not at the Bernabeu. No chance. I thought, first leg, the game was over. After the first leg, it was over. There was no way they could do anything. And then they score in the first 27 seconds or so. And I'm like, all right. What's going on here? And I'm like, okay, you know what? It's just a goal. Real Madrid, they're going to bounce back. They're going to score. But I'm like, all right, there's something may be happening because the Champions League this week has been just insane. So something may be going on. And then Juventus scored a second. I was like, bruh, I need to switch games. I need to put the game on my screen right now because I need to see what's going to happen. So I put the game on. Didn't really watch it for like the majority of the time, to be totally honest, because I focused on the Bayern game. But I had the game on, had to like the voice on, so like I could always hear what was going on. So then I hear like the commentator just going nuts and whatnot because Juventus scored the third goal. I was like, bruh, is this actually happening? Are we actually seeing this? And then our game finished, so I was watching their game. It was just like the second I put my eyes on, like the second I actually focused on that, Real Madrid get a penalty. Was that a penalty? Yes, it was. Was it very soft? Yes, it was. But it was a penalty. I think that's no debate, really. I mean, people are going to debate because last minute you shouldn't give a soft penalty. But ultimately, a penalty is a penalty because the referee, his job is not really to say, oh, you know what, last minute or first minute, I shouldn't give a penalty in the first or the last minute. I shouldn't give a card first or last minute. Ultimately, the referee shouldn't do that. And that's why I feel like the penalty in of itself is a just decision. However, I can't lie. I was angry. I was furious because I like football stories. I wanted Juventus to go free, to be totally honest. Now, it's what it is. You can't always get what you want, but incredible. Ronaldo again, incredible. Like with the amount of pressure, Buffon, probably his last Champions League game, gets a red card, gets sent off. There's like a 5-minute delay, with the new keeper Szczesny coming on, and like the whole, the attacks against the referees and whatnot. Like a literally 5-minute delay, which every other footballer would feel the pressure. every other footballer would be like, okay, you know what, this has gone on for too long. 5 minutes, I can't just stand here waiting to take the penalty for 5 minutes. But no, Ronaldo takes it, top corner. Who's got the balls to do that in the last minute? I sound like a Ronaldo fanboy right now, despite me actually pretty much despising him for most of the time I watch football. I pretty much despised him. Still don't really like him all that much, but I just appreciate him, I guess. In the same way that I just appreciate Messi. I don't really have favourites. The same way I appreciate, for example, Zidane. I just look at them and I'm like, yeah, awesome players. Most of the time I can't stand them, or most of the time I'm just like, whatever, who cares? I hate fanboys. But yeah, who got the balls to do that in the last minute of the game, top right corner? Heartbreak for Juventus. Honestly, I really felt bad for them. I was like, you see, that's the Champions League. Now, obviously, they're going to complain that the referee, you know, he shouldn't have given that. I feel like he should have given that, but he shouldn't have sent Buffon off. I feel like Buffon getting a yellow would have been, you know, sufficient. But it is what it is. You know, Real Madrid, again, I feel like most people, the reason why they're so outraged right now is because nobody thought that Juventus would go through. And just as Juventus was like writing a, you know, almost like a fairy tale, Real Madrid just last minute just took it out. I always knew, like Juventus, they're gonna do well, and Ronaldo or someone, Ronaldo or Ramos really was gonna score in the last minute or so. Ramos was on the bench, so it was Ronaldo. So I always knew that's gonna happen, but still, they ruined the fairy tale, a nice little fairy tale, and that's what Champions League is really all about: writing stories. Now, out of those 4 teams that are right now in the semi-finals, obviously those 4 teams being Roma, Bayern, Liverpool, and Real Madrid. Who's the best team? Honestly, you normally look at who has had the hardest path, which would definitely be Real Madrid. You know, first facing PSG and then facing Juventus, and also obviously having pretty much the weakest path. Not to take obviously any credit away from the teams that we played, but you know, us having the weakest path, ultimately, you'd say, okay, you know what, you can't really judge us yet. But the thing is, I think especially with like the way we played against Sevilla over this tie, I feel like, and I don't know whether that's foolish optimism or whether I am actually right. So it might just be foolish optimism. I might be totally wrong here, and I'm just being optimistic, or I might be totally right here, and I'm onto something. But I feel like we almost haven't shown everything that we could do. I really feel like we've been holding back, which in of itself sounds like, why would you hold back? You know, especially in the Champions League, you always go full throttle. But I feel like, you know, the first leg especially, like we got 2. Alright, we didn't play that great, but we got 2 goals via deflections, and it was like, okay, you know, 2 goals away from home. What more could you want, you know? And then this one, like, I felt like, oh, we only got 2 goals, you know, we're leading, they need to score 2 goals to go through. Not going to happen. If they score 1, we can always increase, you know, we can always increase our ability. We can always, you know, play a level higher, move up a gear. So let's just, you know, hold them out. Let's just see him through, and let's just go through ultimately. And I feel like we haven't really gone all out. Like we haven't had the opportunity, or the PSG. You could say the PSG game, you know, the home leg against PSG. You could say that, but I still feel like we haven't really gone all out. Now that's why I'm actually quite optimistic that I feel like we could actually take on every team. I almost feel like we're just saving it, almost like just like waiting for the right moment to then unleash it all. That's what it really seemed like to me, because the whole time I've never felt like, oh, you know, we've seen the best of Bayern. Not once this season did I think, oh, this is the best we can do. Not even against, like when we played against Dortmund and won 6-0. I thought like, oh, this is, you know, this is us going out. I just like, okay, fair point. 6 goals. That had a lot to do with Dortmund's obviously terrible defense, pretty much clinical attack, but I still didn't feel like we went all out. So I just want to see like what it would look like if we go all out now. You know, I'll just mention it now. Who cares? I think I personally would want to play Liverpool right now. Right, like in the next round, I would personally want to play Liverpool, just because of the fact that I feel like Liverpool Bayern hasn't been a match that has happened lately at all. You know, for a bunch of years. I can't even remember the last time we played Liverpool. I probably I probably wasn't even alive there. I'm not certain. No, I'm joking, but I really don't know. Nothing comes to mind. Roma we played, I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think 2 years ago. Could have been 3 years ago. Who cares? Oh, 4 years ago maybe as well. Who cares? We played Rome. Yeah, I think no, 3 years ago definitely. So we played Roma 3 years ago. So we already played a lot of them. Real Madrid, and we played them pretty much like almost every year now, every 2 years or so. So I'm not sick of it. I want to play against Real Madrid in the final, but I'm kind of like, I'd rather play Liverpool just because we've not played against them in like forever. Now here's what I actually think is going to happen. You know, obviously that would set us up with Real Madrid in the final. The way I put it, you know, us against Liverpool, Roma against Real Madrid. You'd expect us to win. You expect Real Madrid to win. Is that going to be the case? Not certain. You can't be certain just yet. But here's what I think is going to happen. Me being totally honest here. I just told you what I wanted to happen, and here's what I think is going to happen. Now, I think we are going to get Roma. And I feel that Liverpool is going to get Real Madrid. And here's why. Yup versus Hankis. Sorry. Yup versus Klopp in the final. And obviously Liverpool, if you take the Klopp factor, Dortmund against Real Madrid 2013. And then Roma beating Barcelona. So if you pretty much substitute Roma with Bayern, you'd have Barcelona versus Bayern 2013. Now you have the team that beat Barcelona, aka Roma, versus Bayern 2018. You have Klopp, who beat Real Madrid 2013, versus Klopp versus Jupp in the final. Just this time it's not Dortmund versus Bayern, this time it will be Liverpool versus Bayern. And it will be a battle to see who gets the 6th European Champions League trophy. So obviously both teams being on 5, so it will be like who can get ahead, who can get the 6th one. So that's what I think is gonna happen. Again, I'm one of those people that think that football stories exist. I know a lot of people say, oh, they don't exist. Football stories, or who cares? All these coincidences in football, who cares? Doesn't really exist. I feel like they do actually exist. I feel like in football there are some things that just can't be explained. There are just some things that just are so impossible to happen, but still happen every single year, or happen every single time certain teams face each other. So just from that perspective, I feel like that's what's going to happen. Jupp's final season, pretty much what we fought in 2013 too. Jupp's final season, and then I feel like I feel like that's how it would go down. Now, if we were to actually face Real Madrid, if we were to actually face Real Madrid, to be totally honest, I would only be confident if Neuer is back. Now, our defense hasn't been bad. Our attack has been mediocre. That's the issue. So I'd much rather face anyone else besides Real Madrid, because considering they've got fast fullbacks and we don't have fast wingers. Our wingers are all old. They're still technically smart. They're still very incredible in that regard, but they're not very fast to exploit the spaces left by fullbacks. So that's why I feel like Liverpool has a very good chance against Real Madrid, and I feel like we have a very good chance against everyone else besides Real Madrid. I feel like Real Madrid, if Coleman was fit, right, I'll be totally honest, if Coleman was fit, I'd say we'd win against Real Madrid. I'd be very confident. But right now, if we play against Real Madrid, without Neuer, I'd say 50-50. With Neuer, I'd give us the edge 55-45. And the only reason for that is because I feel like Jupp has something up his sleeve. I feel like we haven't gone all out. So that's my thoughts, I guess, on the Champions League. I'll see you guys later for the mock draw. This was a little bit of a longer video. It is what it is. But I'll see you guys then. Until then, everyone, peace out and have a nice day. That flopped. Peace out and have a nice day. Bye.